Hello and welcome to the Justice for Gamers E3 podcast. This is going to be a hard-hitting review of all the conferences. We'll tell you what we liked and what we didn't. We'll also arbitrarily rate them out of 10. Except Ubisoft's, because we've forgotten it. But anyway, games? Lots of games. Games. Hello and welcome to the Justice for Gamers podcast. This is episode 15?
Yeah,
is that
15,
right?
buddy. We've made
15.
it. Double figures plus 5.
It's all over. It's not all over. I am joined, as always, by my good friend Ash.
Hello.
Hello, Ash.
How are you?
And I am Alex.
Oh.
Hello. And that's how you do an intro. So this is the Justice for Gamers E3 podcast.
Yes,
because
we've been to E3. We're at E3. We're there right now.
We're there right now.
Yeah. In
We're
spirit.
under your chair.
We are under your chair, and we're out
there now.
Yeah, that'd be a bit worrying if we were under the chair.
We didn't go to E3, but we've been watching it.
Yeah, and it's like the same as being there. You know,
I think better.
I think better as well, because it's like when you watch like the Grand Prix, yeah, you can see the whole circuit, but
exactly,
if you're there, you only get to see like one corner, unless you walk around, obviously.
And you get replays on the telly.
Yeah, exactly. Slow motion. All
and
that.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, it is cheaper. So, E3, buddy. What, do we need to... Are we just going to go straight into it? Just be like, yeah, boom.
I think... Yeah, I mean, we're not going to do any other sections because we won't have time. There's more news this week in the video game world than for the whole rest of the year, essentially. So we just got to crack on, pretty much.
Cool.
We're going to have like 2 whole weeks where it's like, what have you been playing? And we're just not going to do that. But it is worth noting for podcast 16 next week, we do seem to have The Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited, and we have been playing it.
Thank you.
And if you are a regular listener to this podcast, with the knowledge that comes with that, certainly of my opinion, of The Elder Scrolls Online, then I'm maybe just casually suggest that you might want to listen next week. So that's a little teaser for you. See, we're getting really good at this now, Ash. We're doing teasers and
promotions,
all sorts,
music.
Yeah, I feel like a modern day Johnny Vaughan at this point.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
Gonna go and have a crack at the Top Gear presenter. Chris Evans doing auditions shortly. I think we should get down there.
Get in there, mate. Yeah.
Chris Evans and me and you.
Was that some sort of segue or whatever it is into what you've done this week, or literally today? You know, about driving.
Well, it wasn't, but it can be.
Might as well be. It's quite a good one.
I just got back from Brands Hatch, where I've been racing about in an aerial atom today, which was absolutely fucking terrifying.
Nice. That's what I wanted to hear, buddy.
I got in this car. There's a professionally trained former race driver, now tutor, beside me. He's like, "Have you ever driven around a racetrack before?" I'm like, "No." And he didn't exactly fill me with confidence. He was like, "Okay, so you've chosen Brands Hatch, which is camber-wise one of the most difficult circuits in Europe, and you're driving the Aerial Atom, which has the highest power to weight ratio,
to weight ratio,
torque." He was, and then I could just see it in his eyes. He was like, "Fucking hell!" Because this geezer's got to sit next to people like me every day, as they fire about a race circuit in a supercar. And I mean, God help the man, because I wouldn't want his job.
No.
I really wouldn't.
Oh, dear.
But it was unbelievable. I did say to one of the geezers, I've actually done about 150 laps of this circuit on Project Cars. And he pissed himself. And he was like, well, that'll make no fucking difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah, I bet.
It was of little use. I mean, I knew the racing lines. That was something.
But were you going like 20 miles an hour around them? Like...
No, I tell you, I don't know. I was mostly too scared to look down at the speedo, but I got 5 laps, and on my sort of third, fourth lap, I got that last bend right and literally floored it.
Nice.
Which I do in my car all the time because it's a 1.2 Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything. But in this thing's got like 250 brake horsepower.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. I don't know how fast I was going. The best thing that happened all day, by the way, was that once I got there, I found out that you can get helmet cam.
Nice.
You can get helmet cam of your laps.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm going to want that. I'll have a bit of that. Because that... And then I thought maybe we could make like a comparison video of us doing laps round Brands versus my real life lap round Brands. So I said that, and they gave me this little GoPro to give to my driver geezer, and he hooked it up on the car and everything. Did our laps and everything. Finished up. I was a bit winded, and took the camera down to the place where they take the footage off and they pop it on a little USB stick, little Brands Hatch USB stick. They fucked it.
Dickbags.
Either the geezer didn't put a memory card in, or he didn't turn it on, or something. Some bollocks. Either way, they fucked it, and I didn't get my footage at all.
That's not cool.
Which was shitty, but this was a present for my folks, and my mum was there, and she was having none of that. she was like, I don't think so, Sonny Jim.
Yeah.
You're going to want to do something for us now. And she just wouldn't leave it. And eventually, they, as a way of compensation for my lost footage, they gave me a passenger experience in a V8 GT3 World Touring car alongside a proper race driver.
Nice.
I got 3 laps sitting in the passenger seat, shitting myself, going
nice.
around Brands.
Yeah, I have experienced that as well. Like, I can't remember how old I was, but I think it was like my dad's like 50th birthday, so I would have been like, I don't know, 15 or something. And my gran paid for me and my brother to go on. I can't remember what car it was, but it was around Brands Hatch and it was fucking really fast. I remember that. And
you go around that first bend, you're like, I don't understand how the car is still turning.
Why aren't we dead?
It was one of those Aussie Vauxhalls, the Monaro.
Nice.
The V8 thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, a fucking great day.
Cracking, buddy.
Welcome to the E3 podcast.
Yeah,
let's
talk about
games, racing experiences at Brands Hatch.
Fuck it, yeah, I want to hear about it. Let's do it. Fuck these guys. Everyone knows what happened at E3 anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, what a waste of time.
Yeah, fuck it. So anyway, Bethesda, starting it off.
Let's do this. So basically what we're going to do here, we're going to go through basically conference by conference. We're going to sort of go talk about the things that were interesting. Then at the end, we're going to say what we thought was the best thing about it, what was the worst thing about it, and we're going to give it a rating out of 10, which is something we never do. We never give things ratings out of 10. But the games conferences are so ludicrous, as is the idea of calling them a conference, that it seems just as ludicrous to give them a score. So that's what we're going to do this
Sounds
week.
Good.
You happy with that?
Scoring system, yeah. 1 to 10. I'll do that.
1 to 10. Yeah. Okay, so Bethesda.
1, 2, or 10.
1, 2, or 10, indeed.
Yeah.
Bethesda. Did you watch it live at 3 a.m.?
No, of course I didn't. I watched it on YouTube the next
No.
day. I'm not stupid.
I was at a long and arduous wedding weekend over the days before, and I crashed out at 20 to 3. That was the last time I remember looking at the clock.
You suck.
Didn't make it, but I watched it first thing in the morning anyway. So yeah. I thought it was fairly strong. This is their first conference, isn't it?
Yeah, for their first conference, I think they smashed it out of the park with all the stuff that they came out with.
It was no nonsense, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah.
It was kind of bullshit free, which is very rare for these conferences.
Bit unfortunate about Dishonored 2 getting leaked before it, but oh well.
Yeah, and really very, very shortly before it, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, it was like in the whatever it was, the pre.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, wasn't that the story that they were doing a test run and accidentally streamed the test run?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. But yeah.
That's pretty special.
Yeah, pretty dumb. But yeah. So they kicked off with Doom.
They did. What did you make of this?
Okay, so I remember playing the original Dooms like on PC at school because they were all like LAN connected, so like we got it installed on there and like we were playing each other and stuff. It was cool. They were cracking. Was it Doom 3, the one on the PC? Was it that one?
Yeah, I had that. I didn't like that very much.
Nah, it was okay, but
looked amazing at the time.
Yes, and I'm going to say about the same with this. It looks amazing. Again, the graphics on it look really something special. Now, I think this is going to happen a lot throughout this podcast, talking about graphics and how good they look, and like, is it going to look like that when it comes out? Is that running on PC or is it running on a console? So yeah, that was blatantly running on a PC, I'm guessing, and it looks really good. It seemed to be quite floaty to me. Like it didn't seem like you were connected to the floor, but then again, that is Doom in its essence, I guess. The one thing I did like was the melee attacks. They were really cool. Like you could kind of like pick a part of the body to hit, like say the leg or the arms or the chest or the head. I don't know. Can you think of any other games that really utilised that?
I don't know. It was difficult to tell whether they were random or if it was kind of the closest thing you were aiming to at the time.
Yeah,
I'd imagine the latter.
I was watching it and the part of the body was highlighted when he went for the melee attack.
Like a VATS thing.
Yeah, like a VATS thing, but like
thing.
in real time, obviously, not in slow motion.
Yeah.
So that's what he would be aiming for, like the leg or, like I said, the chest and things like that. So I thought that was really cool. I hadn't really seen that before.
I haven't played the latest Wolfenstein, but you've played it, and you said one of the greatest things about that game was how fun the shooting was, and this looked fun. This looked really fun. The shooting in that.
Yeah, definitely. Like the variety of weapons, like the shotgun's clearly the go-to weapon, and then there was
got the beans. It's the way it should be with Doom.
Indeed, and like the kind of like plasma machine gun looked like it was doing fuck all. It was just like the animation when he picked it up was fucking super cool. Like it all span around in his hand and shit. I was like, wow. And then he shot it and it was like pew pew pew. I'm like, oh my god, that is rubbish. Get the shotgun back out. Come on.
It was very slick.
Yes.
I've gone into all of these conferences with my own sort of fairly harsh brand of skepticism, where I don't really believe anything I'm seeing, and they showed a lot of single player, which, as you say, looked fucking great. And then they showed a tiny snippet of multiplayer, and the graphics did not look as good. And I was thinking in my head, okay, so the single-player demo they've shown us was like scripted and polished, and the multiplayer they've shown us fuck all of, because that's what the game's actually going to look like. I looked that up over the last couple of days, now that people have got on, because it's playable on the floor, single player and multiplayer at E3.
Okay.
The general consensus is what they showed, that single player, what they showed, that's playable and exactly how the game runs.
Wow.
And there's people playing it and they're like, yeah, it looks like that. It looks that good. Which is very exciting because it looks fucking great.
Yeah, man, it looks really, really good. Like, very impressive. Looking forward to it. We've got the. Well, hopefully, I've got that code for the beta. So.
We might be able to get involved with that. That'd be
classic.
That'd be cheeky.
Pre-owned Wolfenstein coming with a code that may or may not have been used. We don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't think they would have. They would have kept it, wouldn't they? If they.
I don't know. I always put it back in the box when I've used it. So that's me, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll see on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the problem with this podcast, is that I want to talk in fairly great detail about most things, but if we do that, this is going to last like 6 hours.
Yeah, it's going to go forever, and that's what I was just thinking.
It's going to be tough. But we'll just have to play it by ear, see how we go. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just cut you out.
Let's move on to Battlecry.
Unfortunate.
Battlecry, free-to-play, third-person shooter, poor man's Team Fortress 2, looks a bit shit.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate to come straight after Doom. That's literally the only comment I wrote about that. I was just like, yeah. No, I'm good, thanks.
Not interested. Next, they came out and they announced Dishonored. There's going to be a Dishonored remaster with, I think it's quite cheap as well, 25-30 quid for the remaster and all of the DLC that came with that original game or came out over that game's lifespan. I really liked Dishonored. I played through it twice, and
wow,
I don't think I'd play it again, but if you haven't played it, then highly recommended. It was just fun. It was just really fun, the powers you had and stuff. Very satisfying combat yet again. I'm starting to think Bethesda are kind of cornering the market of just satisfaction in terms of your gameplay mechanics, how it feels to shoot things and melee, and it's just all very nice and slick and polished and what you want.
I think they're getting all the different ends of the market as well. Well, like you're saying with satisfaction, but also with like, you know, the different like art styles and scenarios, I reckon. So like Doom's like your death one, Fallout's like your atomic era, Elder Scrolls is that, Dishonored is your steampunk. You know, they're all all over the place really, which is awesome. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely, really cool. So they announced that. They announced Dishonored 2, which looks like more of the same.
But better.
Didn't see much in the way of gameplay, but there are two characters this time you can play as. There's a female protagonist as well as a male one, and they were quite keen to state that it wasn't a case of a co-op experience or a Last of Us where the two of them are travelling together.
Yeah.
This is literally pick a character, play through the game, and presumably the story will be shaped very differently depending on who you choose. It gives massive amounts of replay value. You know, the fact you got two characters there.
Yeah, man.
Dishonored was already a game where you can reload a level 15 times and do it differently every single time. So very cool. Very cool.
When I was watching it, like, I never finished the original Dishonored. I think I probably got about just over halfway through it. And when it loaded up, when the trailer came on for Dishonored 2 and it showed the girl, I immediately thought it's the girl from the first one. Is that wrong? I'm guessing it's not her.
No, I think it is. I think it is.
Fucking there
Emily.
you go, mate. Yeah, why not?
I'm pretty sure it is her. Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. See, I already know what
cool.
happens in. So that's ruined the first game for me. I know she survives. She's not dead. Terrible. Worst trailer ever. So yeah, Fallout 4, buddy. I played the shit out of Fallout 3 and probably half or something of New Vegas again. I just remember getting the sex spot in New Vegas, which was always fun. Classic, good times. And yeah, this game has just come out and fucking smashed it with so much of its stuff. First things first, really. It looks really good for, I'm guessing, a fucking massively open world game. Don't you think?
Yeah, I do. When we saw the very first trailer, I was a little harsh on it because I sort of said, as nice as it looks, I was expecting to be absolutely blown away. But you have to remember that this is huge. This game, you know, it was the same with Skyrim. It's the same with any games of this sort of scale. There have to be graphical compromises, and I don't think that it absolutely isn't the best looking game that I've seen at E3.
Definitely not,
but it's top 10, and for a game as vast as this one, that'll probably do you. It's very colourful. They seem to have really thought about the colour palette, and that was a big problem on Fallout 3.
Yes.
It was brown. Fallout 3 was brown,
and that was all.
Which is understandable because it's it's a wasteland. But touches like the fact they've basically said there's going to be a sort of introduction where it's kind of pre-war, before the bomb dropped and so on. And then all the mechanics as well. The fact there's going to be full-on crafting. There's going to be building. There was that building pack that went onto Skyrim, wasn't there, where you could build your own sort of house
yeah,
and stuff.
You could make it in I think it was like 4 or 5 different locations. Really cool that was. But yeah, you can make your own. What did they call it? It wasn't like a fort. It was like a
settlement.
Settlement. Yeah, that's it. And then so when it first started up, it's like, oh cool, you can make your little house. But then it goes on to show you about you can make was it generators and have lights going, and then you can build gun turrets, and it's your settlement will get attacked by nomads and whatever. It's oh my god, that's ridiculous. And then at the end of that bit, it's but you don't have to do that. It's just an option if you want to. So, all right, fucking hell. But the one thing that really stuck in my head was the whole fact that everything, literally everything has a purpose. It can be used, it can be salvaged, it can be scrapped, it can be turned into anything. So it showed you he built the sniper scope or something, and he built it out of and it came up with a tree of different things. So it needed adhesive, rubber, glass, and I don't know, something else. Metal, I think it was. But there were so many different things. You could build the metal out of a wrench or a toy car. So all that random crap that's always been lying around in Fallout, that it's actually useful now, which is just...
They've solved a problem there.
Yeah, totally.
Because that's been a running theme with Bethesda's Elder Scrolls games and the Fallout games, is there's always all these different things you can pick up that do nothing at all. I've always, in previous Bethesda big old games like this, I've always ended up with 1,000 fucking items that are of no use to me, because I can't help but pick shit up, even if it's of no use. And now everything has a use, so that's very cool. We very much like the look of this Fallout game, and it just looks fantastic. It's got the one. It's one of those games. It's got the look of a game where they just know exactly what they want to do.
Indeed, it looks fucking ace, and it's out this year.
Indeed,
which is fucking brilliant. That's definitely, if not pre-ordered, or I might wait a couple of weeks or a month or so and get it for Christmas, because there's going to be a few patches on that bad boy.
Well, that and the fact that, this is... You're going to want a bit of time spare to tuck into this thing.
Yeah, true. Christmas is...
perhaps holiday season is the time.
Not a bad shout, buddy.
So that was the conference. They ended on Fallout. I've actually put a little note. We're using a little Google document which we've kind of compiled all our notes. We both kind of jotted down what we thought of stuff on the fly because there's so much to take in. And I've jotted down the predictions that I made back in April about what I expected to see at some of the conferences. Most of them weren't fairly outlandish. But, it was an article on the site I thought people might be interested to see. So, for Bethesda, I predicted that they would announce a new Wolfenstein. I'd predicted that they would show off Evil Within DLC. And I thought they'd have something else as well.
A new IP or something.
I thought they would show off something, and I had there was a vague whiff moment in my head where I thought possibly they would tease the next Elder Scrolls. Because
it would have been nice, but they don't do it like that.
I was thrown by the fact that they announced Fallout. They waited till so close to E3, and then they announced it before E3, and I thought, in my head, I was kind of running scenarios, and I thought, why would you not just wait? And I think this conference would have been far better if I hadn't seen anything of Fallout 4 until this conference. And I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't get it.
Maybe they were worried about it getting leaked or something beforehand, or I don't know. You just don't know.
Maybe it was going to get leaked, so they preempted
so they went
something
with
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, I thought it was a bit weird. The most exciting thing... what was your most exciting thing of the Bethesda conference?
Well, we haven't actually spoken about it, but, in the Elder Scrolls Online, it finished with, like, a little note with a hand saying, "We know." And that can only mean that the Dark Brotherhood are coming to the Elder Scrolls Online, buddy. So that's pretty exciting for me.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, no.
My most exciting thing was Fallout.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, it was Fallout. Them pimping up a house in Fallout, that sounds fucking ace. And the pit.
All those mechanics I hadn't even considered that they've now confirmed. And the fact that game's coming out far sooner than we were expecting.
Yeah, which is even better.
Is wonderful. Least exciting thing. What was your least exciting thing about the Bethesda conference?
The Elder Scrolls Legend card game, I guess. That
surprises me because you tried for some time to get me to play Hearthstone, and I know you were having a little go at that a little while.
Yeah, mate. I've been playing Gwent as well on the fucking Witcher 3. I love it. But, no one's going to play Elder Scrolls Legend with me, so I'll just be like, well, I might as well just give up now.
Oh, that sort of reverse psychology is not going to work. I've no fucking interest in the card game. And for me, Battlecry. I thought Battlecry looks shite. I've no interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And as you said, to follow Doom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what were they thinking? Like, we're just going to start with Doom that looks so good, and it is awesome. And then just be like, yeah, here's Battlecry. Yeah. Come and play it. It's like, oh dear, mistake. But then again, I don't know where. It was like when they put on Elder Scrolls Online, I was just like, yeah, no, it's just pointless. But yeah.
Okay, so finally, Bethesda, wrapping up Bethesda, what would you give the Bethesda conference out of 10?
I'd give it a solid 8.
Fair play, and I would give it a 7. Next, this was the following day at an hour of the day where people are awake in Europe, which was nice.
Helpful.
So I think it was a 5:30 start, wasn't it? This is the Microsoft conference. So let's just kick straight into this straight away. Halo 5 Guardians. That's what they opened the show with.
So Halo 5... we spoke about Halo 5 in the pre-EE3 podcast, and I'm not fussed about Halo anymore.
You couldn't give a shit about it at all.
Nah. I don't know why.
Fair enough.
I've just had my feel now. I think it's not going to get better than Halo 3, you know. That was the best. It was so much fun
I think
with the
you're
co-op.
probably right about
and the
that,
Forge.
to be honest.
It had everything. Don't need it anymore.
That was it. I didn't realise how revolutionary that game was when it first came out. The fact that it had Forge mode, the matchmaking was just the best matchmaking in anything ever. It looked great when it came out. There were loads of map packs and stuff, and they were reasonably priced. Halo 3 was an amazing game. I think this looks really good, but at the same time, I feel like I can't play a Halo game and not be playing as Master Chief at all times.
That's what I didn't like
weird,
about ODST and whatever the other one, Reach. Was it Reach? I can't remember.
It's what Halo is.
I know.
You're Master Chief.
You are Master Chief, and you're going to fucking bring it.
You know?
That's what you do.
It's like Splinter Cell when they changed the voice actor. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, you can't...
You're not Sam Fisher.
Exactly.
Fucking do
So,
it, Sam.
Halo 5, it looks cool. Obviously, obvious caveat, regular listeners know we don't have Xboxes. But we're interested.
Might get one for Christmas now, though, after some of the stuff they've said.
Yeah, it was a cracking conference. And you play lots of games on Windows as well, so we have a vested interest here. So yeah, Halo 5, they followed that up with Recore, which was a robot thingy. It was a very slick sort of CG stroke, where this is the footage we're aiming at kind of thing. But yeah, we don't know much about that. Then the one, the only big dick player, Phil motherfucking Spencer, came out to lay the smack down on our candy asses, and
big news.
just casually announced Xbox 360 backwards compatibility.
Fucking, why, that's awesome, man. Like, seriously. I mean, if I for some reason this week, because of E3, I've gone back and played like some like late 90s and early 2000 games to do some research. We'll get onto that later, but I'd really actually appreciate backwards compatibility now, I think, more than I ever would have done in the past, because I've always just been like, yeah, the future of games and staying with the now, but for some reason, probably because I'm getting a bit old, I don't think it's nostalgia, because I'm not going back to games that I've played before. I'm going back and playing games that I haven't played, and like, I think, like, yeah, like some of the old PS3 or PS2 titles, I might go back and be like, oh yeah, I never played that, and there's... So yeah, man, fucking backwards compatibility, well good.
It was such a bold move, and you know, PlayStation have actually come out and said, oh yeah, we don't think people are interested in that, which is ridiculous because of PS Now. I mean,
they don't need to do that. That's what they're going for, isn't it? They're not going for backwards compatibility. Why can't I can't say compatibility after backwards? It's weird.
It doesn't matter, buddy.
Yeah, everyone knows what I'm doing. Because they're doing the PlayStation Now, which is going to be the backwards compatibility.
Do you think it makes PS Now look a bit silly?
I don't know.
Do you think it's like why not just have backwards compatibility and allow you to download old games, like, rather than have this convoluted streaming service where they can't decide on a price model and so on? Like, I think it makes a mockery of PS Now. And also, and this, I promise you that this is true. I've been thinking long and hard about this. When these consoles came out, if the Xbox One had been backwards compatible, I would never have bought a PlayStation. I wouldn't have given it a moment's thought. I would have bought an Xbox One straight out the gate, and this would be a very different podcast.
Indeed.
That would have done it. We had F1, we had Vegas, we had Project
we could have
Gotham.
played all of our games that we had straight and just carried it on. And
There is no way, there's no fucking way that we would have switched over to Sony had they done that straight out the gate. There's just no way.
I could still be playing Trials HD.
Yeah, you could. It was a big move, but at the same time, it's a bit late. Like I feel like they did it because they know that they're behind.
And so many people are saying like, oh, they're giving the big push back now. Like, you know, maybe the wrong kind of phrase, but yeah, I don't see it. I think they're too far behind to like get.
How many people traded in all their 360 games? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I haven't got any anymore, other than a Guitar Hero World Tour, the one that was in the bundle.
Yeah,
you can't fucking flog for love nor money. No barcode.
That is literally the only thing that I've got left. I've sold I've sold the 360. I've kept the controllers because of the PC compatibility, but everything's gone apart from fucking Guitar Hero World Tour.
Well, what could have been, buddy? Because
indeed,
would have changed everything. We'll move on. Fallout 4. That was the next thing that was in the Microsoft, and they announced that PC mods would work on the Xbox version. It was since announced that this is coming to PS4 as well, albeit
is it?
Shortly afterwards. Yeah,
okay, that's fine. I like, because I was like, oh man, I really wish I had that, but now you've said that, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna get it. It's fine by me.
I kind of thought, okay, that makes sense because of the whole Windows 10.
Yep. But
so I didn't really even think about it, but I looked it up just before we started recording, and it's coming to PS4 as well. That's a big deal. I don't exactly know how that's going to work. I'd imagine it would be limited in many ways, but there's a great start.
We didn't talk about is that Bethesda net, is it?
That's right, yeah.
And so I'm guessing you're going to have to go on there and then kind of like you do with GTA with like the social maps and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's going to be that
Rockstar
kind of situation.
verified stuff as well.
And all that, yeah. So I reckon that's how you're going to like sort out your mods and shit. But
that's cool, isn't it?
Very cool. Mods coming to the fucking console, buddy. Can't wait.
Fallout as well, like of all the things we were shown over the course of E3, that's the thing that looks like it's got the most content in it, and it's going to have mod compatibility. You know, it's just man. It just feels like a winner already. I can't really see from what we've seen of that, and the fact that they've only shown us gameplay. Even the launch trailer was gameplay. I don't know how they could fuck that up. I feel like that's, you know. That's a very safe place to put your money in betting terms. So we'll move on because we talked about that before. Forza 6 is Forza. They've got some sort of thing. They've partnered with Ford. They dropped a car from the ceiling gradually. They didn't just smash it to pieces.
Not just like, boom, Forza. Oosh.
It was all bollocks. They had like Henry Ford the Fifth or some shit. You know, Junior. We would probably, as you said in the pre-E3 show, it's never really set the world alight for us Forza, but you know me, I would probably be buying Forzas if I had an Xbox One.
I don't know, when Gran Turismo comes out, I don't think I'm going to buy that.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've played like Gran Turismos in the past, and I'm like, it's the same with Forza, it just feels too slow. It's too simmy for me. I don't like it.
Well, I'll probably get it.
Right, okay. Enjoy.
So then we've got a load of games here that Microsoft kind of showed off, but a lot of them are mentioned in conferences we're going to talk about later on in the podcast, so I've just kind of condensed it down. We had a Dark Souls 3 teaser, which was all CG, didn't show you anything at all, but... Yep, that was announced. Apparently people have seen it running on the E3 show floor, and it's coming out early next year. So, no fucking about with From. It was a nice trailer, but we will consistently belittle all CG trailers on this podcast. because they're all bollocks.
Yeah, it's like someone saying, "Yeah, we've got a game. That'll do. You don't need to show us anything else." They could draw just like a fucking stick man with a sword and be like, "Yes, the new Zelda." Same thing.
Exactly. The Division, they showed some gameplay in inverted commas. We'll talk about that in the Ubisoft conference bit. And Rainbow, we'll do the same there. And Tomb Raider, they showed lots of Tomb Raider, and Tomb Raider looks gorgeous. Once again, it looks more of the same.
I'm a bit jelly for that.
Probably my biggest disappointment is the fact that this thing is allegedly Xbox exclusive, although it's still hazy. It still might come out. No, it just no one fancies confirming it. Either way, what did you make of that? I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the reboot. I really, really enjoyed that game. It was awesome. So I'm a bit bummed. I don't know. Is it Xbox exclusive? What about PC? Is it? Oh well, we don't fucking know. If it comes out on PC and not PS4, then fuck it, I'll buy on PC. It's gonna be cool. Like, I like it. It looks good. Yeah, not more really to say about it. I'm a bit bummed, but yeah.
And it was dated to come out November, which is cool, quite soon. And that's what we like. Next, indies. They showed off a load of indie stuff. They had a pop-up. They tried to do the whole look at all of our indies thing. They had them on pedestals and stuff. It was quite interesting to see.
Like PlayStation did last year,
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And this is... You have to give them a lot of respect, because I feel like they've tried to cover every angle here. They've gone backwards compatible, they've got first-party exclusives, they've got games coming out in the next 6 months, and they're investing in indie with the Windows 10 thing added to that as well. You know, they're doing all they can. You couldn't do any more than this with the slightly less powered console. You couldn't do any more than what they're doing.
I don't think so.
So yeah, indies, we had Tacoma from Fulbright, a lot of people interested in that one. Ashen from Aurora 44, Beyond Eyes from Tiger and Squid, which looks interesting. They also announced early access. They're going to start doing a sort of early access program a la Steam. It's kind of going to be curated though, where they have, games coming out over a period of time, one at a time, all of which will have demos and possible refund policies and stuff. I think that's the future anyway. It's prevalent on Steam. It's going to happen on the consoles as well.
Yeah, it's got to be. Has to move on, doesn't it? So yeah, Xbox are really, or Microsoft I should say, are really trying to impress and pull people back, and they're doing a very good job of it, I must say. I'm a lot more intrigued.
I think so. Then they kicked in with HoloLens. They did the Minecraft HoloLens demo, which was very interesting, but at the same time, I mean, we've done this, haven't we? With Kinect. And also,
extremely skeptical.
I'm going to call bullshit on HoloLens. And you can have a pop at me if you fancy the internet. And if I'm completely wrong, then I will hold my hands up. But I'm calling bullshit on this. I think it's absolute bollocks. And also, even if it isn't, even if it works, I don't know what use it has. Like, other than
generating 3D ladies in front of me with their tops off. It's literally all I can think of.
The whole Minecraft on the table thing, I was struggling to think of many other reasons why you'd want to do that, and it was all a bit strange, but it was incredibly impressive.
All the augmented reality stuff. Like, it's very interesting, but when it comes down to it, you really got to think, like, what would I use that for?
And if you've got to rack your brains to come up with that, then you possibly didn't need it in the fucking first place.
True.
I don't know. We're grumpy old men now, aren't we? We're kind of set in our ways. We're scared of change and scared of these sort of things that appear sort of gimmicky to start off with. So for me, I've absolutely zero interest.
I think we've just been bitten too many times before in the past with
Connect.
Well, even other ones before that. I mean, if you look at like the light guns and stuff back in like the 90s and stuff, like they were fucking cool. But like if we were a bit older back then, we'd be like, wow, this is dog shit.
Yeah, it's true. And then finally they polished things off with Gears 4. Not Gears of War 4, Gears 4. They dropped the of War.
Gears of 4.
Gears of 4, much better. Yes, we fixed it for them.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Yeah.
It's Gears, innit?
It's so bad though, because these are like games that I fucking absolutely loved on the 360. Like, is it because I haven't got an Xbox One that I'm not that fussed about them, or is it because I'm just like...
I don't know the answer. I don't know. I don't think that it's the fact that you haven't got an Xbox One, because we didn't play Gears 3 either when we had 360s.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Or Judgment. No. Well, I mean, Judgment was a complete misstep by... most Gears fans will tell you it was a misstep. It seemed to be shite from what I could make out. It looks like Gears of War. If you like Gears of War, then it's Gears of War. It looks very pretty and quite interesting, but it's just Gears of War. I think they've made the character models a bit smaller. It looks a little bit less Gears of War than previous iterations. But there's not much else we can say about it. Something I've just realised that we did miss was the announcements from Rare. It's my bad. I must have just missed that in the Rare Replay.
Yeah, which is 30 games for $30, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Something
I
like
think
that.
you can get it over here for like £19. I've seen it, 18, 19.
Which is something, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
man.
just a retro pack, but there's a lot of good games there. I mean, it's not just really old stuff like Battletoads and that RC racing thing. You got Perfect Dark Zero in there as well, and just all sorts. And Rare have made a lot of good games, and to get so many of them for that price, it was quite cool that they said there's like 10,000 gamer score tagged into that as well.
That's cool.
And then they came out and announced their new game that they've been working on, the one that Phil motherfucking Spencer's been tweeting about excitedly, and it is Sea of Thieves, which looks like a pirate MMO from what I can make out. The trailer was keen to show that there were other players around you. I don't know how representative of actual gameplay footage that trailer was. It all looked a little bit doctored to me, a little bit scripted and CG-ish. But looks like pirates, get your ship, get your crew, go and fight other people with ships and crews and so on.
Yes.
We can't really say much about it, I don't think, at this
It's
point.
quite cartoony and things in a way, isn't it? It's not really...
Yeah.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed pirates.
Well, at least it isn't a fucking Kinect game.
True. And that's a good point. I mean, where the fuck was Kinect?
Yeah, funny that. It's the future of gaming, buddy. So, my predictions were Tomb Raider gameplay and a release date of November. There was always going to be Tomb Raider gameplay. It's hardly a fucking prediction. But I did get the November bit right. I said Rare would show off a new Banjo or Battletoads. They didn't do that.
Just
they showed
old
off
Banjo,
old Banjo and Battletoads.
Yeah, close enough.
It wasn't too bad. I also made I think my boldest prediction was that during one of the conferences, either Microsoft, Sony, or the PC one, I thought Rockstar might appear. I thought someone might have paid Rockstar enough money to pop out and announce Red Dead 2.
That'd have been a shit ton of money.
It didn't happen, and it could happen at Gamescom. I
Maybe.
still think that game's coming.
That'd be fucking ace. Did you ever play the first one?
I did, yeah. I loved it. But
fucking so
I didn't
good,
actually
wasn't it?
own it. I was skint at the time, and I borrowed it off of Sam actually when we were living together down in
Nice.
Bath. But I haven't played it. I didn't play it very much, and always wanted to go back. If I had an Xbox One, then I could do, but I don't.
That's true.
I can't.
Yeah, great game.
So, I basically got all the predictions pretty much wrong. What was the most exciting thing for you about Microsoft's conference?
Unfortunately, probably like the HoloLens, but it's still just fucking hype. It's all bollocks. So I'm going to go with the backwards compatibility, buddy. Like I said, it's all about the features, buddy, not the games now for me for some fucking reason.
That's what you were excited about going into this. You said
It's weird.
It wasn't really big name games that was the thing you were interested in. It was new features, new family sharing stuff, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, where's that? Where's the family sharing? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I don't know. My most exciting thing was that they've got so many games coming out, exclusive games coming out soon. Something Sony absolutely don't have at all is first-party titles that are coming out this year. So if you've got an Xbox One, then you can look forward to Halo, Forza, and Tomb Raider before Christmas. And that's a big deal. It doesn't sound like it, but if you compare it to what PlayStation's got going on in terms of exclusives, there's nothing there. And a running theme of Sony's conference was everything was 2016. Everything had a 2016 on it.
We don't know, buddy. We haven't got onto that yet.
Well, okay. I don't want to spoil it.
Don't ruin it. God.
Ruined.
Ah, dear.
So, yeah. The least exciting thing. What was your least exciting thing about the Microsoft conference?
Oh, God. The Division. Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
That section where it was just all the, games. No, all the non-exclusive games. I'm like, oh yeah, great, you've got a exclusive beta for you, blah blah. I was like, yeah, meh. That was it.
Yeah. My least exciting thing is HoloLens because I'm calling bullshit on HoloLens.
But mate, for them to fucking do it on stage though.
I know, and I was saying in the lead up, I want someone to try and show off a headset because you can't do it and it'd be funny. They did do it, and they did it well.
They smashed it, mate.
Yeah, it's still fucking bullshit, mate. I'm not having it.
Totally.
So that's my least. Finally, your score out of 10 for Microsoft's conference.
I think I have to go for an 8 again, because I think they did really well compared to previous years. I'm doing this on I'm not judging people against each other. I'm doing it from how they've done from previous years, I think. So yeah, that's an 8.
Fair play. I'm giving them a 9.
Wow.
I think they smashed it. Even with HoloLens. I think HoloLens made for good conference fodder, if nothing else.
Definitely.
But I thought that the lineup of games they announced, the backwards compatibility, I thought it was slick. They didn't go into detail about any fucking figures. Obviously they wouldn't, because they're not pretty. But they didn't go into any of the business bollocks.
Yeah,
they just delivered a conference full of video games.
Yeah, and that's what it's
and
all
that
about.
is what they needed to do, and it's what they did, and they should be commended for that.
Gibbons.
So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me. Moving on to EA.
Do we have to?
We do have to.
So this started off strong with Mass Effect. I was like, yeah, cool, wicked, bring it on, I'll do it, cool. And then it was like CG nonsense, like you say, and it's not out for another year and a half. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I called this. That is, they were obviously they were going to announce another Mass Effect. They kind of had to. It's a very popular franchise. Holiday 2016. Okay, fine. And it wasn't a great trailer, and it was all CG bullshit. So we'll move on. Need for Speed looked amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Fuck me, like when you say what was the best thing of this conference, it is Need for Speed. That thing looks
graphics
fucking
on that
insane. Like,
if that is gameplay, then it's the closest thing I've ever seen to photorealistic. Like,
it's
it
awesome,
literally looked like a video. Like, it's incredible.
and they've come out. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, and they've said, people have the Need for Speed franchise has been around for 20 years, 21 years, 20 years, something like that. And they've gone all through the spectrum of different styles of racing, like from like drift to like kind of serious, like in shift, to all up and down. And they've come out and said in this game, because of like the customizable cars and stuff, you can race this how you want to race it. If you can, that's going to be a really good game.
I mean, the idea that you could adjust things to the point where you could play, say, 2 online races with your friends, and one of them is a fierce Project Cars-esque simulation, and the other one is
fucking Kudos
arcade
Max
Ridge Racer. Yeah. I mean, if they've managed to do that, if they've made a game that covers the spectrum of driving mechanics that we've seen across the board from various games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unstoppable as a system.
I don't know.
It looks amazing.
It's the same thing like HoloLens. I'm calling bullshit, but if it does come out and it does that, then fuck me, we're getting that. No question.
Yeah. Absolutely mind-blowing, and we were watching this conference and we were kind of mocking it along the way because it weren't pretty, this conference, as far as I'm concerned, but this really did, this was a jaw-dropping moment and well worth looking up on YouTube if you haven't seen it. Next, it just kind of went downhill. It just spiraled.
Here I was at the point where I was like, oh my god, they're going to do something good, and they're showing kind of gameplay footage as well. I was like, okay, fair dues, I'll eat my words, and then suddenly it was like, okay, no.
So we're going to cane through this. We have to talk about this conference because it's one of the big ones, but
we can get through this bit quick, though.
So Plants vs. Zombies 2, it looks like...
exactly the same.
It's another Garden Warfare. It looks the same as the last one. Blah, 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 blah.
But you play as the zombies this time, isn't it, instead of the plants? That was the big thing.
Yeah, revolutionary, mate. Yeah. Massive chunk on NHL, NBA, and Madden. Rory McIlroy golf, which is just... it will always be Tiger Woods to me.
Yeah, I know, right.
And at this point, I'm losing the will to live because they've shown me puck tech and... talked about Ultimate Team across their sports games.
Loved it.
And then someone comes out and starts talking about their mobile games. And
shows the fucking Minions.
fucking Minions mobile game where they're on some desert island sunning themselves, and it was so painful.
It was horrible.
Everyone who came out seemed inept at presenting the caliber of software wasn't even poor, but they managed to make it not very interesting. And then the moment came when the guy came out and I was like, oh, finally they're going to talk about FIFA because I've heard good things. I've heard they've made strides forward.
Yeah.
Fucking wheel out Pele, sit him on a stool.
I'm pretty sure when I saw them bring something out, I was like, that's a fucking Zimmer frame there.
We both thought they were Zimmer frames. And I was thinking in my head, why is the creative director of FIFA got a Zimmer frame? Oh no, they're chairs. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Pele, mate. There he was. He was all about FIFA. He loves that shit.
So this guy just basically wanked off about the fact he was talking to Pele, even after Pele had gone, after Pele spouted incoherent pidgin English at us for 10 minutes. The geezer was just like, I just met Pele. It's almost like he forgot that he was where he was or what he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then he told us basically fuck all about FIFA.
Yeah. Did they even mention the fact that it's got women? I don't think they did.
Yeah, that was mentioned.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I was so amazed by Pele.
He basically said all the mechanics have been refined. That's the story that we're getting. All the mechanics have been refined, and there's women.
Cool.
Okay.
Great.
We're nearly there with EA. So then, a strange Scandinavian man took to the stage and, in a sort of terrified manner, showed us this game called Unravel, which...
His hands were shaking so much.
He was so scared, bless him, and his game looked so lovely.
It's interesting as well. A bit different, isn't it?
You play as a little woolen chap. You leave a woolen trail everywhere you go.
You can use
Unravel.
It's
called Unravel. I think that's why that was happening. I called it Wool Simulator 2015.
Nice.
It looks cool. Then came Battlefront. What did you think of Battlefront?
Looked like Battlefield in a Star Wars mask.
It fucking did look like Battlefield. It really does look like Battlefield Stormtrooper Edition.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, nice.
I suppose it was always gonna.
Yeah, it was gonna. But yeah, I don't know. It looked good. I mean, you can't say it didn't because it really did. It looked really good. But the problem about these things, they're so scripted, and it's so like if we would play that as a demo, we'd run out there and just get fucking shot 20 times in a row in the face. Whereas he's running through shooting everyone oh yeah, this game's great, you can kill everyone, but yeah, and
It actually, to be fair to it, had a lot of people excited, and fair enough. And also, Sony had a fair old chunk of gameplay. We'll talk about that in the Sony section. I thought it was a much better showing, the footage that they had in their conference.
Yes, I think so. It wasn't as scripted.
People will love it. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful.
Probably get it.
But Battlefield for me is run for 3 minutes across a map because everyone's took all the vehicles, then die, and then do that again.
Yeah, rinse and repeat.
But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, finally, Mirror's Edge.
That looks fucking cool.
Does look cool.
Yeah,
it looks very cool. There wasn't a great deal of gameplay because they were kind of phasing in and out of people talking about how they were making the game and stuff. They've been, from start to finish, EA have been massively wanky over the development. Oh, it's really close to our hearts. Oh, we want to revolutionise movement. All of this, stuff that just makes you want to vomit. But it does look great. I loved Mirror's Edge, and I'm very much looking forward to this. And it's open world this time. The way that Mirror's Edge works with the routes, it can't be freeform, can it? So if you're clarting about on roofs, then there can only be, maybe there's one way off of each side of the roof.
Yeah,
that seems reasonable. Maybe even 2 ways. I don't know, but it's like a massive maze, really, isn't it? Because you're going to need to be able to navigate from each building to the next, and each one's going to have a route. You're going to end up learning the routes, I think, because they can't make it freeform.
Well, the thing is, if I can get fucking lost in the first Mirror's Edge, I'm totally fucked for this one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It looks cool though. It looks very cool. It was. I think it was probably my favourite thing of their conference. We'll get onto that now. In fact, just before we do, my predictions. Back in April, I said the Mass Effect would be teased with a CG trailer and dated 2016, which it was. And Mirror's Edge would be shown and dated early 2016, which it was. Again, it's not like Nostradamus, fairly fucking obvious stuff from me here, but, it was true. So, my most exciting thing about the conference, probably a toss-up between Mirror's Edge and Mass Effect for me. I've never got into a Mass Effect game before. I never thought you would.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've never... I don't think we've ever spoken about Mass Effect.
I played about 10 hours of the first one. I couldn't get past the combat. I thought it was clunky as fuck. Totally put me off the whole franchise, and I never gave it a fair chance afterwards. I'm ready to do so now. And
okay, that's what it is.
I haven't seen any gameplay of this yet, but I just know it's my sort of game. The Mass Effect. When I saw Mass Effect 3, I thought this is definitely my sort of game. Never actually played it. I'm ready to jump in. So I think that would be my big deal, even though it's absolutely miles off and we haven't even seen anything of it yet. What about you for your favourite thing?
I would have thought it would have been Mass Effect, because I played like the first 3 games like religiously, to the point where I bought 3 and realised that my game save for Mass Effect 2 wasn't complete or something. Like it hadn't saved it at the end. It was like on the last mission. So I immediately went to Blockbuster, which was available back then, rented Mass Effect 2, finished off the last mission so I could carry on my character in Mass Effect 3.
Wow.
Yeah, I would have thought Mass Effect 4, but I'm just really excited about Need for Speed. Like, I want another Need for Speed Underground or Underground 2, because that for me was the best Need for Speed. It was fucking awesome. And like if they come out and said like what they said, like about the whole you can race it how you want to race it, then yeah, I'm in. Totally.
It did look fantastic, and I'm a massive racing fan. You're not exactly going to have to twist my arm when that one's concerned.
Shocking.
My favourite one was the first Hot Pursuit. There was the third, Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. But I liked Underground. We played it a lot on your Xbox, and I also played it at Pictors on the PS2.
Yeah.
It's an old friend of ours with a stupid name. But
Pictor.
His name was Sean, but if you put Sean's into predictive text at the time, it came up Pictor, so we started calling him that.
Standard.
And now he's known forever as Pictor.
Yeah.
Least exciting. My least exciting thing was the Minions mobile game, because fuck off. What about you?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, wow. A fucking shitty mobile game at E3. I mean, seriously. Is that what we're doing now?
Just don't do it. You don't need to. Why would you?
I don't know. But yeah, that's E3.
Know that casual mobile gamers are not watching your conference.
Exactly.
And show us proper fucking games. And for your fucking Minions mobile game, save your conference time, spend that money on Facebook advertising, and you're away.
Yeah. Fucking stupid. I don't get it. Anyway.
And your conference rating for EA out of 10?
Oh, it's got to be like 2.5 max.
Really? You're going that low?
No, okay. 4.
It was miserable. It's
fucking woeful.
The thing that really pissed me off about it the most was that if you look at the games that they had, they got some great games.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. But they just didn't do anything with them.
That was shite.
What about you?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Shitbag. You always have to do one better than me, don't you?
It wasn't great. And you predicted beforehand that EA was going to have the weakest conference.
With lots of CGI trailers.
We'll talk about, we'll talk about that at the end, but I don't think you were too far wide of the mark.
Und jeder Schmuck wär ein Juwel. Du brauchtest mich, nicht zu fragen. Jeder Wunsch, der mir befehlt, wird mit dir rein.
Right, next, we are going to head into Ubisoft country.
Oh dear. Danger.
Now, they kind of... Well, I can't think of many more surprising secrets that were revealed at E3 than this. But they kicked things off with a new South Park game.
Yeah, fucking bring it on.
Absolutely. Now, we switched over to PlayStation right around the time that Stick of Truth came out, didn't we? And
yep.
Yeah, so I never played Stick of Truth. I didn't want to spend the money on a 360 game.
Thank fuck I've got a PC. That game was so good. Like, it was fucking hilarious, and the fact that it had like fucking RPG elements in it as well. It was so good. Like, it was like the turn-based combat was like fine, like, but it was just like it was the comedy in it and the familiarity of South Park that really brought that home. So if they're making a new one, I know it's not by, is it Obsidian that made it? So it's
there's talk that there's a couple of there's some members of staff from Obsidian have gone over and worked with. So is it Ubisoft San Francisco or something like that?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame it's not them. But if it's going to be like Matt Stone, Trey Parker getting involved with it again, then it's going to be golden, no questions. It's going to be ace.
And a very strong way to start a conference.
Yes, well done.
Then Aisha Tyler, who was on top form as ever, apologised for how shit Ubisoft have been, which I thought was quite nice.
Yes.
I can't remember what she said now. Intense. I think she said they'd had an intense year, which was code for we've downgraded everything, put towers in all of our games, and pissed everyone off.
Yeah.
And we're sorry about that. Which was nice. And then went into this new IP, For Honor, which
I immediately signed up for.
Yeah, me too, actually, because I had a little play of War of the Roses. I can't remember the name of the other. There was another like medieval sword fighting game on the PC that's quite popular.
Like Chariot or
Chivalry.
There you go. I knew it was should something.
I really like that. I like the whole sword fighting stuff, the medieval stuff as well. You got Vikings and stuff in this. Very weird for Ubisoft. They showed a CGI trailer which made everything look spectacular, and then instantly followed it with gameplay footage which looked nothing like it.
Wasn't it live gameplay? Like they literally brought out.
Yeah, they had people out there.
8 people
they had,
or something.
4-on-4s.
Yeah.
It had a bit of a MOBA thing going on, I thought, because there seemed to be loads of AI players sort of fighting around the human players. Which is quite an interesting concept, quite a nice idea, having sort of like minions almost from MOBAs, that sort of thing. I thought it looked cool, but the gameplay they showed did render the CG introduction completely fucking pointless. But,
as always.
As always. Other things of note at the Ubi conference, Trials Fusion's getting some DLC.
What the fuck is that all about? A cat on a unicorn, was it, or something?
Cat riding a unicorn breathing fire.
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks. The BMX was enough for me.
Yep. I don't know what that's all about. Then we had an extensive look at the Division. They called it the Dark Zone. I'm presuming this is the PvP area for the Division, the Dark Zone. I couldn't give a flying fuck about the Division anymore. I'm drained and sick of it. I'm so over it.
Why did they announce it 3 years ago?
I don't know.
What's the fucking point?
So sick of it. Completely overhyped. It doesn't even look like the game it originally was going to be. It's just fucking Ubi. Massive misstep. I've just lost all hope for the thing now. They've announced a beta test for this starting December on Xbox, early next year on other platforms, and they've dated this now. It's coming out in March, the 8th of March release. I bet you any fucking money in the world that they missed that date. Any money, I'll take your bet.
Yeah, of course they will. That's only another year to wait then. That's fine.
They showed Anno 2205, I think it is. Always like the look of the Anno games. Haven't got a PC, so I can't play them.
Very cool.
Then the misstep of the conference, as they announced Just Dance with old Derillo.
He was terrible at singing.
He was fucking awful.
Wow.
He for a singer, he was very bad at singing. Yeah. Very bad. We didn't even know who he was.
It's true. Is that Puff
care
Daddy?
who Jason Derulo is. But I was making notes on the conference at that point, and I just wrote, Just Dance, Jason Derulo being awful. That was it. So we'll move on from that. Then we had some Rainbow, bit of Rainbow Six Siege, and they announced and showed off terrorist hunts. They did a live terrorist hunt on the stage.
Love T-hunts.
We love a good terrorist hunt. She kept saying terror hunt.
Terror. The hunt for terror.
Hunt. I didn't know what... it took me a while to get what she was saying, because she was a bit French, and she was like,
I think she was
hunt.
just being lazy.
Bit lazy.
Yeah, a terror hunt, isn't it? Yeah.
Looked cool though, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It looks very cool. I like the whole hiding behind the shield, or hiding behind a guy with a shield. I still don't know if I'm sold on the whole explosive walls and stuff like that. I think that's just going to fuck me over way too much. But it's definitely a wicked game mechanic, but I think it's not going to go well for me.
The idea that I could get shot through a hole in a wall that didn't exist until I was killed,
yeah, that makes it a little bit worse.
Annoying. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's out this year. Something that is actually coming out this year.
I know, right?
PlayStation.
Looking forward to it.
I'm sure we will tuck into that. I'm sure we will. Next, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I don't know why I don't give a toss about this. I really liked Black Flag, and the fact that it's Victorian London appeals to me as well. So I liked one of their recent Assassin's Creed games, and I really like this location, but I just don't give a fuck about this, and I don't know why I'm not seeing any gameplay from this game. It's coming out this year, is it not?
It's a bit worrying, isn't it? It's a little
coming out in October, this game. All they're showing me is CG trailers all the time. Is it done? Because Unity wasn't. So is this one going to be? I don't know what's going on, Ash. I'm very confused. I'm a little upset. I might have a little cry.
Yeah, so we haven't seen anything on this, and it has been my mandatory 2 years gap between an Assassin's Creed where I buy a new one.
So you do it.
But yeah, I just don't feel it. I'm not feeling it. No, I'm good.
And the geezer announcing it, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's playable at the Ubisoft booth," and I thought, "Fucking brilliant! I'll get me coat, mate. I'm just gonna head off to Gatwick now."
Yeah.
Like, show me some gameplay. If you've got a playable demo at the booth for any old chump to play it, then show me some gameplay in your conference. I want to see what it looks like.
Yep. Would be nice.
And finally, Ash, Ghost Recon Wildlands.
What a fucking finisher, mate. Boom. Well good. That looked fucking awesome. We were watching it. We were like, what's this? What's this? And then I was like, it's ghosts. And then we were like, no, it's not ghosts. It was Ghosts.
It was the Ghosts are back in Ghost Recon Wildlands, which is a sort of stealthy military police game with an open world for up to 4-player co-op to do missions against the AI, and this game, oh my god. Unlike The Division, this game is playable at E3, and you can read various previews of people who've played this demo, and they say that it's the game that they showed off. It's got the open world, it looks gorgeous, it's got co-op play, you can do the missions all different ways, there's vehicles, there's skydiving. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, man. Seriously.
Yeah. It just feels like the sort of game that is absolutely made for us. I couldn't be more excited about anything I've seen over the last few days. Always loved Recon. Obviously, it's Ghost Recon in name and nothing else. From what I can tell, it's nothing like the previous Ghost Recon.
No, it doesn't look
game.
like anything like, not stealth or like, crawling around on the floor, rolling sideways constantly. It's a lot more guns blazing, but then again, I'm happy to do that.
It's taking down drug cartels, but there was a map in the trailer that showed various different locations. It also showed gameplay footage. It showed a mixture of everything. It was a very slick trailer. It was excellent. It really was excellent.
Indeed. Very cool.
So there we go. Quickly to my predictions. I predicted a new Splinter Cell. I was wrong. It was Recon. I predicted Grow Home to be announced for consoles. That didn't happen either. And I predicted that Ubisoft Montpellier be doing something. This is the people that made Valiant Hearts and Rayman. I suspected a new Rayman. That didn't happen either. So I clearly didn't have a fucking clue what Ubi were up to. That's 3 strikes and I'm out in that respect. So what was your most exciting thing about the Ubisoft conference?
It's probably gotta be Ghost Recon. Finishing on that, mate, really.
Same for me.
Doesn't really get much better.
No, easily the best thing that I saw in that conference. And what was your least exciting thing?
Unfortunately, it's going to be Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo.
She didn't do it for me, mate. She just didn't do it for me.
Fair point. I had written down The Division, but I did dislike Jason Derulo more than The Division. So I'm going to go with Derulo as well. That's a clean sweep for us on that.
Nicely done.
So on to Sony, and before we start with Sony, I just want to say I sat down to make notes on the Nintendo conference, and I sat down to take notes on the Square Enix conference. The Square Enix concert. That sounds a lot better than what actually happened. There's no reason for us to cover those. Nintendo announced a new Star Fox that looks a bit shit, and nothing else. And the Square Enix conference is comfortably the worst games conference I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely miserable. Absolute miserable experience watching that. I wish I hadn't seen it. Unfortunately I did, but that certainly doesn't mean I have to subject you with it, so we just aren't going to even discuss it. All of their games are covered in the other conferences anyway. We'll go to our awards ceremony at the end of this. I think you'll know the answer to one of those straight away, but we're not going to cover those, so let's move on to Sony. So they kind of came out the blocks, all guns blazing, and various other metaphors for it was good, with The Last Guardian.
Yeah. And I need to immediately apologise for last week on not knowing anything about this game. since then I have researched, and also I have put in about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay into the Shadow of the Colossus as well. And I am now extremely excited about this game, that everyone's known about for so long. I've watched the Last Guardian trailer section or gameplay footage about 5 or 6 times, and each time I'm getting more excited about it. This was obviously during my 5 hours of playing the game, trying, not comparing them, but seeing what was what. But yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. I like the idea of it. It's definitely taken some aspects of the Shadow of the Colossus, like calling the horse and obviously calling whatever that dog beast is. And he's going to be like your counterpart in the game, which I really like things like that, where I don't think it's going to be co-op. That'd be weird if it was. He has to do something for you, you have to do something for him, so you can progress through the level, which is cool. And like you say, it looks really good, and I'm definitely excited for it now, buddy. Great start.
Yeah. Either way, if you're gonna start a conference, then that's how you do it.
Yeah,
but
man.
I do wanna throw caution to the wind here. They're working on this game. I really like how close it is to the very first trailer that I saw. They showed gameplay footage of this thing like 8 years ago or something, PS3 footage, and I love how close this looks to that. It's got all of the same sort of ideas there, but I do want to say my heart did kind of sink a little when it just came up 2016 at the end. And if you do a little bit of looking into, people have kind of pressed them on this because, we've been waiting for this thing for a long time. I think it was a mistake for them not to put a date on it.
At least a month or something, saying
at least put a month on there. We've been waiting all this
yeah.
time. People are going to call bullshit on it. And they've now said they're quite confident that it'll come out in 2016. And you just start to worry.
Oh, then it's 2017.
What have you actually got there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a theme of this Sony conference. It was like a fanboy conference. They almost jumped through hoops. It was an amazing conference, but it was literally like a box ticking service. At one point, I half thought they were going to wheel out fucking Gabe Newell and he was going to announce Half-Life 3. That's how ridiculous it was getting with the announcements. But I am concerned that they haven't put a date on this thing. I do wonder if next E3 we'll have heard nothing more and there'll be another bit of gameplay footage, just because of how long it's been, we've been waiting for this game.
I'm not too fussed because I've only literally been waiting since it got announced, so I haven't waited that long, so I'm fine.
You'll happily wait for another 8 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's fine by me. I can do that.
Fair play. We move on. So the next thing they went to was that Guerrilla Games. I think I talked about this last week. I thought they'd announced something. There was talk of an RPG. There was talk of a third-person thing. The protagonist looked a bit like Brave, the girl from Brave in the concept art. They did announce this thing, and it looked gorgeous. If that was gameplay footage, then one of the most beautiful games of the show. And this is Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a terrible name for anything. What did you make of it?
Yeah, you called it their bad name. What does it mean? Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's just so generically awful.
Okay.
And actually, in our Google document, I've misspelt Horizon. I've put Horizon,
Which is better.
Which I much prefer. I much prefer that.
I like it. It's cool. It's like shit. The world was like when the trailer kind of started. It's like, oh, we're in the woods. Okay, what are we doing here? And then suddenly it was like, yeah, people used to live in these really big buildings and shit, and it's like, oh, okay, so this is, what has happened now.
It's set in the future. It looked like a caveman game, didn't it? And then it turned out it was set in the future.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, so I don't really know how we've not kept the technology that we already know, but then she's got this like electronic bow that can do all these things, so I'm like, okay, but why are we living in wooden shacks if I don't know.
Problems with this thing.
But this is just like me like analysing it quite badly. But as a game, it looks really cool, like hunting like cyber dinosaurs. Of course there are. Once again, why are they like dinosaurs? Robot? Why? What? I don't know, but it looks really cool.
Who's making robot dinosaurs in the future?
It's fucking... I'm very interested.
Tell me why anyone would make robot dinosaurs. Give me any reason. Give me any legitimate reason why there would be robot dinosaurs. I can't think of any.
No idea, but it's interesting.
It looks cool. It looks cool. The trailer was very brief. We didn't really find out very much. One of those annoying ones, very much like The Division, with this sort of constant narration of herself.
Yeah, and the lips weren't even moving on the character. I'm like, well, that's...
Well, we were inside her head, buddy.
Oh, okay.
It was what she was thinking. I don't know. I get sick of it.
That was another thing. There was no facial expressions when there was like this big fuck of like robot T-Rex coming after or something. She's like fucking deadpan, like, yeah, I'm out of it.
Looked like Killzone as well, didn't it? Shadowfall.
Yes, it had a tint to it, I must say.
Guerrilla Games make very boring games. This doesn't look boring, but then neither did Shadowfall when I bought my PlayStation. But it was.
It was.
So we'll see. Who knows? Next, we haven't talked about this yet. Hitman.
Yay. Okay.
It's just called Hitman.
Hitman. It's like Pitman.
So,
Hitman.
It's like Pitman. Every time Ash receives a message on Project Cars from his geezer in the pits, he calls him Pitman. He's always talking to old Pitman.
Fucking Pitman can shut up.
So Hitman is looking like I don't know what. It's in CG.
Exactly.
It's in CG footage. I don't know.
I really, 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 really enjoyed the last rendition of Hitman. I got it free with my graphics card, actually, which was lovely.
You will therefore be very disappointed because from what I've heard, it's nothing like that.
Fuck. Okay, cool. That's fine. What, is it going like the old ones then?
Yeah.
Super stealth.
Freeform, open worldy. Apparently it's kind of all set missions, and it's going to be like almost like content delivery with this new Hitman, where you got these missions now, less story based, less linear, more challenge based. Some people like that, some people don't. I've never been a big fan of the Hitman games.
Like, the problem with the original Hitman games, I always ended up just looking at a fucking tutorial on what to do. And I was like, well, this is... Okay, so I need to go here, there, and then he dies. I'm like, okay. And that's the best way to kill him. Whereas in the last whatever it is, the last Hitman. Absolution? Is it? I'm going to say Absolution.
I think you're right, yeah.
It was nice because there was like, linear bits where you go through and kill people, and you can stealth it through it, or you can kill people and hide their bodies or push them off the balconies, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then there's like little open worldy bits where you have to track people. It's not like... It's a simple Hitman. That's what I like. I don't like all the... I don't know, when it gets too much.
The freeform nature of it. Where I think that's what this is going to be. A lot of people are saying more like Blood Money, less like Absolution.
Yeah.
So maybe not for you, but
I'll probably get
a lot of people will be into that, I think.
It's only like £40 pre-order on the store at the moment.
Yeah, that's weird. I
Yeah,
think
that
goes down. That comes down to that.
Yeah,
it's digital
content
only,
delivery and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. They're taking a real different route there, which fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Street Fighter 5. We're not going to talk about that.
Nope.
We don't care about that at all.
Nope.
And then we saw No Man's Sky, and the geezer Sean, what's his face from Hello Games. He looked as bored as I was at seeing yet again the same thing from that game. And they're really in danger of losing the hype there, because all I ever see is pick planet on map, go to planet, land on planet. Planet looks the same as all the other planets. Look at some wildlife, take off, jog on. I still don't know what you do from minute to minute in that game. I know that the overall idea of it is to get to the centre of the galaxy. There's been murmurings that they're not going to give you the option to be able to find your friends, that the universe is so vast that it wouldn't matter if you did because you'd be so far away from them. I'm very sceptical about all of this stuff. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Don't really know what the fuck is going on. Pretty much. Like you say, it just looks the same. You're going to all these little places, but why would you go further out if you want to get to the middle? I don't know. It's an exploration game.
That's a very good point.
But I don't know.
I guess everyone starts out really far out,
but then can't you just zoom straight in and be like, yeah, just take me there, and then hyperdrive it? I don't know. It's odd. I don't know what the end game is or anything. Is it just an exploration thing?
Still no release date on this thing either. Not even a year. You start to worry, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously too much for them. I don't know.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Next, Dreams Media Molecule's new game. Fuck knows what this is. We won't talk
No
about it too much.
idea.
The trailer's weird. It looks
Strange.
like you draw things and then you can bring them to life, and it's kind of community creation thing. I was talking to Ellen about this today. She was saying the thing that she cares the least about in Media Molecule games is the community aspect. Like, she just wants to play a game.
Yeah,
she doesn't
something
want
cool.
to make a game or play versions of a game other people have made, and I understand where she's coming from there.
Yeah.
So, but we don't really know. We'll move on. Firewatch. This is from Campo Santo, which they're a new studio, and this thing looked cool. It piqued my interest.
Yeah,
This.
man.
What did you reckon?
Definitely. It's not a very long trailer, but for what it is, I'm immediately drawn into it. One, by the one comment that he makes where he goes into the cave and then he pretends to fall
funny.
down. And I was just like, oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm like, all right, you've got me like already. I'm hooked. But then like when he's walking through the woods and stuff, I'm like, wow, the art style on this is cool. Like, it's, I don't know.
Looks lovely.
Yeah, and then obviously you're like, what is it, like an open world survival game or something? And then it's like, oh no, there's some sort of storyline in here. I'm like, oh shit's just, yeah, I don't know, it's all kicking off now. I'm like,
No sign of any enemies or anything.
no sign of nothing. But I'm so intrigued by it, and I want to play it immediately. I want it. I think that game is the biggest surprise for me.
It's the sort of like Dear Esther or Gone Home, like that sort of sort of FPS where it's not a shooter obviously, but where it's sort of exploration. There's a whole mood, a setting thing there. But yeah, the dialogue seemed really cool as well. It seemed non-gamey. It seemed more. It was like he sounded a bit like John C. Reilly, like this sort of casual kind of having a chat kind of thing.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
There seemed to be like a nice not bond, but chemistry between the woman and like the guy. And it's like, oh yeah, I don't really talk to the other guys like this and things like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I see where this is going. Bang bang.
Snoochie booch.
Indeed. But yeah, man, like that game's like surprised me. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I want it.
Yep. One thing that didn't surprise me was Destiny DLC, which can fuck off. And we're not going to talk about it.
No.
And then, as can the next thing they showed, which was another CG trailer of Assassin's Creed.
Well played.
Followed by a World of Final Fantasy, cutesy, wanky, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, is this a piss take? What is this?
Am I being punked?
Yeah. But no, it's
followed
real.
by the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Did you play Final Fantasy VII?
I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life. I might have played one for like 10 minutes, but it obviously didn't take. But no,
Okay.
no.
Neither of us, therefore, are qualified to discuss Final Fantasy VII, whether the remake will be faithful to the original, whether they can fuck it up or whatever. Never played it, so we can't talk about it. Sorry. On the other hand, Shenmue 3. That's a series of games that I have played. I thought this was a bizarre announcement to basically be peddling someone's Kickstarter. That's basically what they were doing. It
It's
worked.
all the rage
it's
these
funded.
days, buddy. Kickstarter.
Yeah,
It's all about it.
I just got the. It's just like your Sony. If you want to fund a game, then fund a game.
Yeah.
It was just like paid advertising in the middle of their conference. I thought it was a bit strange.
It's very strange.
I do worry. Have you got any? Have you played Shenmue before? Any of them? Either of them?
I mean, what is it, like 14 years ago?
Dreamcast,
2000?
mate. It came out on Xbox. Shenmue 2 came out on Xbox, the original Xbox.
Did it? I
Yeah.
remember playing it on the Dreamcast anyway. And I'm trying to think how old I was then, like 15?
Well, I liked Shenmue, the first one. I didn't play much of the second one, but the first one I thought was amazing. It was so sort of ahead of its time in terms of the sort of open world aspect and all of the different mechanics. Going back and looking at it now, it is basically a quick time event. The game is a giant quick time event. I think it's also worth mentioning that this Yu Suzuki, the guy who makes it, he basically killed Sega. The love of my gaming life, Sega, essentially died because of the money they invested in the Shenmue franchise. I'm not saying that Sony are going to make the same mistake, but it does make me a little skeptical.
That's probably why they were like, yeah, fucking, we don't trust you. Use Kickstarter.
As I understand it, they're investing like 90% of the money. They just did the Kickstarter thing to make sure people cared and wanted it.
Exactly. It's like a tester, isn't
They
it?
do. But this is an E3 press conference in which The Last Guardian, Shenmue 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake were all announced. Three things that most people thought were never going to happen.
And at the time, I'm like, meh. It's just bad.
This is the thing.
Yeah,
Like, no, in terms of like overall gaming culture, yes, these are like massive announcements. To me, I can barely give a fuck about Shenmue. I absolutely don't care about Final Fantasy. Last Guardian, I've always liked the look of, but I haven't got the romance there from being a Sony boy, a PlayStation gamer for many years. So all three of them were underwhelming for me personally. I know that's not going to be the case with everyone, but I think, I don't know.
Same boat for me, buddy. Totally the same.
So then they moved on to Andrew House, who was lumbered with the job of briefly mentioning Morpheus, talking about TV streaming, blah, 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 we don't care. Then Disney Infinity, some geezer came out who was clearly deranged.
Seriously.
Was easily the worst thing to be on the stage of any conference throughout the whole thing. The guy's like clearly ill. He needs a talking to. You won't see him on a stage again. Either way, who cares? Disney Infinity, Star Wars. I don't care about that at all.
No, just no. Next.
Next, Battlefront. Sony's footage, I thought, it showed off the game far better than Microsoft's footage did, but it was very much, more of the same. It's Battlefield with stormtroopers. It looks very nice. I'm sure it's going to be awesome to play. It is. It looks like it's going to be. It's the game that people wanted by the looks of things. That's what I've kind of taken from it. But we've kind of talked about that already.
Yeah. Did look good on PS4.
And then finally, Uncharted 4, which looked amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and that, well, you could say that the glitchy thing was planned, maybe, but I think the fact that it did glitch out and they had to restart it means that it was being played live there and then. So
yeah, again,
we're massively good.
Cynical. I thought straight away, and it sounds like you did as well, that they done that on purpose to show that it was being played. It worked because it was gameplay, and I mean, I trust Naughty Dog to deliver that anyway. They didn't even need to do that really, but I thought it looked absolutely fantastic. And having only very recently discovered Uncharted and finished off the third one, unbelievable. Couldn't be more excited. It's just looked brilliant. Fucking Victor goddamn Sullivan kicking ass as usual.
Seriously. Fucking, it was just cool. Action. It's what you want out of those games. And yeah, everything's just cool about those games. It can do no wrong. It's got a grappling hook thing now.
And what else do you need?
Exactly.
So yeah, that was it. That's what they ended on. My predictions were that the Guerrilla game would be shown off with gameplay footage, which I don't know. Like, I think that was gameplay footage. We'll find out.
It looks more
suppose.
like gameplay footage than like a CGI trailer. It definitely did.
Yes. I said there'd be loads of No Man's Sky and it would get a release date. There wasn't a lot of No Man's Sky and there was no release date. And I said there would be loads of Uncharted, but I don't think that even counts as a prediction, because of course there fucking was.
Yeah.
What was your most exciting thing from the Sony conference?
It's got to be Uncharted 4, but a very, very close second is Firewatch, strangely.
You've taken to that.
I'm really, really taken to it. I'm so excited about that game. Like, and there's nothing to go on, but I'm just like, that just looks like a great game. It looks fun. Like, it's going to be story driven and everything. So I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. But yeah, Uncharted 4 fucking takes it, and that's why they left it till the end. Even though, like, they started off with it, and it was fucking Nathan Drake's brother. I'm like, what is this chump?
Yeah, he's getting involved, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Troy Baker.
What's that all about?
You got to fill the quota. Troy Baker has to be in all games.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's important. Actually, it sounded a little bit like a gruff Troy Baker in the Gears 4 thing as well. I haven't looked that up to see whether it actually is or not, but it sounded a little bit like it. Anyway, my most exciting thing was also Uncharted 4. I thought it looked fantastic. Graphically, it was the best looking thing at E3. as far as I'm concerned. And I'm very excited to play it, as well as the remastered trilogy. Just bring it on, really, at this point. Least exciting. What was your least exciting thing from the Sony conference?
I don't know. Disney, Shenmue. No, I can't say Shenmue. I mean, that's awesome. Like, why not? Like, everyone wants that. Or so many people want that. So, yeah, Disney Street Fighter as well is in there. I don't know about Dreams because I don't know anything about it. Assassin's Creed, maybe. The thing is, like, there's quite a few things that didn't really grab me in this one, but then again, there's a few that absolutely just blew me away. So, Destiny DLC, I'm going to go for in the end.
Fair play.
I seriously couldn't give a fuck about that. So
no, nor could I, and that's my one as well. I do think, by the way, considering it's a multi-platform title, there was a distinct lack of Metal Gear at this thing.
Yeah, all
across both Sony and Microsoft's conferences, there was a distinct lack of Metal Gear Solid 5. Now you could be alarmed by that, the whole Kojima thing. I've read some previews now of people who've played Code over the last couple of weeks, and they say there's nothing to worry about. It's really good. Yeah. So fair enough. But no one focused on it, and I do wonder if that was to do with the bust up. But no, least exciting thing in the Sony conference for me. Toss up between Disney and Destiny. Who gives a shit about either of those things? Apparently there's still millions of people playing Destiny. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I deleted it long ago. And finally, the Sony conference out of 10.
7.
I think that's fair. I think
a 7.
I think for most it would probably be higher. For me, it's a 7 or an 8. I think I'll go 7 as well. Just a distinct lack of first-party content and a distinct lack of games coming out in the next 6 to 8 months.
Du brauchtest mich nicht zu fragen, jeder Wunsch, der mir befehlt.
So, as I said before, I'm not covering the Nintendo conference because it was a video and it was shit, featuring puppets. I'm not covering Square because it was fucking awful.
Didn't watch it either.
And we've covered all the games that were mentioned in that conference anyway.
Was Deus Ex mentioned? Because that's the only game that really hasn't been mentioned tonight.
It popped up briefly in some of the conferences. There was a big section on it in the Square Enix one.
Yeah. But nothing really about
nothing
it.
Groundbreaking or major or giving like a huge idea of what's to come.
Okay.
So I thought we'd finish off with just a few quick-fire questions. I would like to know, Ash, what do you think was the best conference?
For me, I would say Bethesda. For overall, in general, who won it? I think Microsoft.
I think that's fair. I think my favourite conference was the Microsoft one, and the one that I thought was the best one was the Microsoft one. I think they nailed it. Absolutely. I think they nailed it. I think they've got a great selection of games. And as I said before, what could have been, buddy, with backwards compatibility.
I know. 2 years too late.
Worst conference.
For me, EA, because I watched that whole thing. But I've heard on the grapevine there has been a new contender. So I'm going to ask you, what was your worst conference?
Because of the fact that you didn't watch the Square Enix conference, you were spared.
Yes.
It was awful, and it was easily the worst, comfortably the worst. So yeah, it was. Game of the show. Next question, game of the show. What was, of all the things you've seen, announced or not, in the past, what one game would you pick if you had to pick one game from E3?
So I think I've got a pick from like 4 or 5. So I've got Fallout 4. I'm just scrolling down at the moment. Oh, shit, I had them in my head like 2 seconds ago. There we go. Fallout 4, Ghost Recon, Firewatch, Uncharted, and Need for Speed. It's a tough one. So narrowing it down, it's going to be between Fallout 4 and Uncharted, I reckon. Uncharted. Maybe. Yeah, go on then. Uncharted.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yes,
And,
it really was.
you just know how much fun you're going to have with that thing.
Yeah, I think, especially nowadays, because I don't have as much time to sink into games, I think Fallout 4 is going to be too big for me. I just can't take it all. In the mouth.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Uncharted is going to be, what, like 15, 20 hours, and then, you know, yeah. Bite size, yeah.
There might be
that's better than where I was going.
buddy.
Yeah, multiplayer being there, that'd be good. But obviously that would be like game nights and stuff like that. But like I'm talking about like single player experiences and things like that, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I reckon Uncharted is going to be my game of show. What about you, buddy?
Recon.
Recon, nice. That was in my 5.
By a fucking mile.
You reckon?
Honestly.
Okay.
And I've been sucked in by Ubisoft on many occasions. And I don't know why I feel differently this time. I feel like I've learnt my lessons.
Yeah.
Evidently not. I feel like this game was made for me and my friends. It's got everything that I could possibly want. From what I've seen so far, I get to shite about an open world with you and 2 of our other mates, doing individual missions, all of which are kind of explosive, interesting, and can be tackled in various different ways. We go in as a 4, it's like the old Rainbow Six Vegas days, but against the AI, so I haven't got to play against people, which I hate because people are horrible, and I just don't know what the downside is. There's people that have played this on the floor. They say that it's working. It is what it is. I don't think this is a game that's going to be, 5 years more in the making or whatever. I think they'll slap a release date on it within the next 6 months, and it'll be out in a year and a half.
That'd be nice.
And comfortably game of show for me. I thought it was... And also, let's not forget the graphics, by the way, because this thing looks incredible as well.
Yeah, it does.
There's all of the ideas behind it. So that's game of show. Biggest fuck up. Like, just the conference moment that made you go, oh god, no.
So it's either going to be Minions or Trials Fusion or Jason Derulo.
I think it's got to be Jason Derulo because
he was terrible.
As awful as the Pele moment was, it is at the end of the day it is fucking Pele.
Yeah. And plus I'm saving that for my funniest moment as well.
Pele.
Yeah, coming out to the Zimmer frames. That fucking made me piss. I was like, no, can't be. Yeah.
And that is the I totally agree, fuck up is Derulo, and funniest moment
Pele coming out with the fucking Zimmer frame. Gotta be.
They blew the budget on a man whose accent prevents most people from understanding him.
It was so good. I was just like, wow. And then the fucking guy's like, yeah, I've been talking to Pele backstage. Like, he's there next year.
Name dropper.
Fucking hell. Toot your own horn, why don't you? But yeah, Pele was the most comical thing I think I
It's
saw.
always EA. They always bring out some sports star. It's a fucking
Brilliant.
Oh my god. So I think that'll about do us, Ash. It's been very long, but I think people can probably understand why. As I said at the start, I think there's probably more news comes out E3 week than the whole rest of the year when it comes to video games. So there was a lot to cover. Hopefully it was vaguely engaging and didn't make anyone fall asleep. But plenty to get excited about. And I feel like this E3 we've kind of shaken off the last gen finally. It needed to happen. Suddenly there's lots of stuff that's looking very, very pretty indeed. And I think that that's because we've finally shaken off that last gen. And thank God for that, really, because you're talking about 10, 11-year-old systems that were bringing... You wouldn't send a clown to fix a leak in the John.
Definitely not.
So why'd you let these hoodlums tear down
the biz? Indeed, it's time to move on. That was then. This is now. I mean, yeah, it's been 2 years. We've all settled in. I'm just hoping that we haven't seen the best already, and these consoles have got more in them. That's the big worry, buddy.
That's the underlying issue. Is I'm not convinced about the amount of power in these consoles, and you do wonder 2 years down the line where we're going to be in terms of graphics. I just don't know. Like, it's a worry.
Next year's E3, PS5.
That's a bold and outrageous claim, and I will remember it.
It ain't gonna happen. I retract my statement. I'm liable for nothing.
And on that bombshell, I think it's time to end this podcast.
Indeed.
Thank you very, very much for listening. We are Justice for Gamers. You can find us at justiceforgamers.com. We are at Facebook /Justice for Gamers. Twitter, we are at Justice for Gamer. We're on YouTube. Just search Justice for Gamers because we're still a selection of random numbers and letters. And Google Plus, we're on there if that's how you choose to live your life. My name is Alex. I've been joined by my good friend Ash.
Hello.
And next week we're going to be laying into Elder Scrolls Online for better or worse. So please join us for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a doozy.
It's going to be... Ned Ryerson. Thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the Justice for Gamers podcast with Ash and me, Alex. We release this every Sunday night, so you can preload it for the week ahead. To find out more, head to justiceforgamers.com, Facebook /Justice for Gamers, or Twitter at Justice for Gamer. If you have anything interesting to say, pop an email to contact@justiceforgamers.com, and if you could write us a review on iTunes, we'd be forever in your debt. Have a cracking week, and we'll catch you next time.